Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about progressivism versus populism. I've been doing a lot of these versus videos, looking at one side and the other, and it's not to, like I've said before, point out that one side is inherently better than the other. I just kind of want to look at some of the principles they talk about, some of the points they bring up, and just get that information out there and then get my own impressions on it. So let's go ahead and go into progressivism. So the definition of progressivism, and again, I'm going to say these are based off the modern version of them. I know progressivism and populism have historically had different iterations of them, and I'm basically going to go over just the modern versions of them. So the definition of progressivism is it's generally considered part of the left liberal tradition, a social or political movement that aims to represent the interests of ordinary people through political change and the support of government actions. And some of their principles are they are against corruption, they're opposed to concentration of wealth, they're against oppression, against discrimination, and it says cannot tolerate. They are against privatization of the public sphere. They are for transparency. They're for accountability for those in power. They are for nonviolence. They are for integrity. And they're for solidarity. Okay. So, based off of my impressions, I would say, before I jump into what I think, I'd preface it by saying I know that there are both populists and progressives that are extreme, and I know that they do not represent all progressives or all populists. Unfortunately, the main ones that seem to get media coverage are the extremists. And so based off of what I see from extremes, they claim to be opposed to corruption, but we've seen different instances where if you happen to be on their side, the progressive side, they will overlook corruption or they'll pretend like it doesn't exist. They are against oppression and discrimination. And I would say that, again, if you are on their team, they will overlook these things. But if you happen to not be on their team, they are perfectly fine discriminating against you or oppressing you. Again, that's just my take on it from what I've seen. They're against privatization of the public sphere. Sphere. My take on that from what I've seen is talking about things like privatizing health. And to be honest, I guess I don't feel strongly one way or the other on that one, so I can't really speak to that one. They're for transparency and accountability for those in power. Again, if you're on their side, they don't tend to hold you accountable for things unless you go against the groupthink. Or if you're against them, if you're on a side that is in direct opposition of what they want, they're perfectly fine holding you accountable when you slip up, but they won't do it for their own side. They're for integrity and solidarity. Integrity, much like accountability, is part of integrity, and it's basically leading by example. So if you hope to espouse all these virtuous things for the progressive side, you need to embody them. You need to show others that you will live by what you want them to live by. And then we've got populism, which refers to a range of political stances that emphasize the idea of the people, and they often pit themselves against the elite. They are often met with contempt or disapproval. Populists tend to believe the elite, such as political, economic, cultural, and establishment media, are a homogeneous entity that place their interests and the interests of large corporations, foreign countries, or undocumented immigrants above that of the people. Some of their principles are: it must claim to speak on behalf of ordinary people. The ordinary people must stand in opposition to an elite establishment which stops them from fulfilling their political preferences. Now, I know they get a lot of a bad rap, populists, because a lot of the rhetoric around them is that they are supremacists or nationalists, and I would argue that they just want to preserve their way of life, and then they see all of things changing around them, and they see people trying to destroy their country, large corporations and such, and they want to stop that so that they can continue to live their lives in peace. That's just my take on it. One other take I have on it is that if you read through progressives and populists, you see that a lot of what they want seems to line up on paper. So why are they always at odds? And the answer is, I'm sure, multivaried, and I don't even know it myself, but a lot of it is that I think both sides have a lot of pride and can't seem to work together, but if they were able to, I think they would be able to carve out a life that would be beneficial to both sides. And perhaps that is idealistic to think that way, but the alternative is not pleasant, which is just more arguing, circular arguments, and nothing ever changes for the better. And so unless people can set aside our perceived differences, I don't see a way of moving forward. And that's going to be it on that. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I want to thank you for watching the video, and if you did like it, I would ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm planning on writing a story that I'm going to release in uploads of a chapter at a time. It's going to be about a post-apocalyptic Northwest, so a sci-fi like novel. And I'm going to write a chapter at a time and upload them, and you should check it out and see if you like the story. Leave some comments, and I hope to see you guys later. Thanks.